Yeah.
All right.
Well, we
should we go inside the?
We continue on, Mike.
Yeah.
With the Microsoft.
This is
stuff.
about to be. Honestly, this is about to be one of the longest episodes for Microsoft stuff because it's back to back to back.
It's worth talking about.
But that's fun. It is worth talking about. There's a lot of interest in this, I think. To start off, this is Tom Warren, our boy. We cover all the time. He's at The Verge, as a lot of people know. If you don't, follow him on Twitter. I don't think anybody like disregards anything he says. I think he's like highly respected. So, definitely check him out. Senior editor for The Verge. So he wrote about inside Microsoft's Xbox turmoil. So Microsoft is making tough Xbox decisions amid a game industry that's hurting. Makes sense. Ooh. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of context, a little bit of throwback, and a lot of it sort of covering a bit of what Kyle just got done talking about.
Some of it's kind of cross-pollinated. So
yeah, it's definitely cross-pollinated, but it adds a little bit more context. Yeah. So there's gonna be repeats, but it's also gonna, you'll see what we're talking about. So just hours after learning that Microsoft was shutting down a number of game studios this week, Dinga Bakaba, I think, hopefully, head of Microsoft-owned Arkane Lyon, decided to let the company know how he felt about the decision right in public. Don't throw us into gold fever gambits. Don't use us as straw men for miscalculations, blind spots. Don't make our work environments Darwinistic jungles. It's tough. We just covered. Oh my god. All right. Bakaba, whose studio wasn't impacted by the layoffs this week, and his message was aimed at any executive reading this, including the Xbox leaders behind the latest wave of layoffs. It was a rare public display of criticism, but sources at Microsoft tell me it reflects a growing discontent and fear among Xbox employees about what comes next. You can't blame them. You really can't
blame them at all, dude.
Nope.
I'd be scared. Like, you kidding me?
Yeah, you see, like, probably one of the most profitable companies in the world, and they're just laying off massive studios.
I'd be scared, also pissed. It's like a weird combination. I'd be like, what's going on?
I would do one of these moves. It's just like, if that happens to me, and I'm in that situation, I'm working for Xbox, and Microsoft is coming in, going over Xbox like studio heads, and then basically saying like, okay, we're gonna shut down this studio, and basically like pull from a draw hat. It seems. I would immediately lose any type of loyalty to Xbox games, Xbox Studios. I would take a step back. I would recalibrate my life. I would go on LinkedIn, and then I would start networking like an MFer.
Yeah, like crazy.
Just to make sure I'm okay. Because when it happens, and you can double up on that severance, you're going to be good. But you got to be prepared, because this is, especially in the United States, you really got to be prepared. Yeah. You lose your employment, you lose health insurance. That's not a game. Yeah, so you got to be good. Anyways. So where am I at? Right here. Microsoft's latest round of layoffs shocked both employees and fans. Arkane Austin's big Redfall update was on the way with a new offline mode, and the DLC was being worked on just hours before the studio was closed.
Dude, that's crazy.
No idea.
Working on the game.
So the other one is the shutdown at Tango Gameworks, the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, has surprised people the most. Hi-Fi Rush was one of the most critically acclaimed games that came out of pretty much nowhere. Incredible. So this is staggering. The game was considered an Xbox hit, winning praise among critics and making its way to PS5 earlier this year. Even Microsoft was happy with Hi-Fi Rush. And then, quote by Aaron Greenberg, head of Xbox Games marketing just a year ago, said, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with the surprise release. He said that when he also announced that Hi-Fi Rush was going to PlayStation 5. So that's like crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Wild. I mean, he's marketing, whatever. He probably doesn't understand what they're doing, the higher ups, and he's got to put a face on. But geez, man, it's like lying to your face. Anyway, so Greenberg and Xbox chief Phil Spencer both visited Tango Gameworks in September, playing games with the team and posing for group photos. Now, the studio is in the latest victim of layoffs that have rocked the game industry over the past 18 months. Didn't Phil Spencer, or was this Sony? I think it was the Sony head, right? That went to the studio.
Jim Ryan.
Yeah, dude. This is some Jim Ryan. He goes to the London
Yeah.
studio.
Oh,
He's hanging out with everybody. He's like, "You guys are doing a great job." The next day, when he's home,
yeah. It's like
closing this down.
It's like a week or two later. He's like, "Yeah, out of here, like, dude." Like what? Like he was just at the studio, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, "You're done." It's okay.
Yeah, like praising him too. It's just like, you know what? Just wanted to look you in the face, then go home and then type it up. But like, want to look you in the face and tell you it's over.
Oh man, oh dude, and then he's like resigning. Oh dude, it's the
Oh, dude, it's embarrassing. He deserved to resign, to be honest.
it was not looking good for Sony. So
Yeah, well, they're playing catch up now, and Xbox is apparently destroying their brand. Great. Let's get into this. So, 3 Bethesda studios, Arkane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and Alpha Dog Games are being shuttered, and the team at Roadhouse Studios is moving into ZeniMax Online Studios. The studio closures come less than 6 months after Microsoft laid off 1,900 Activision Blizzard and Xbox employees, and just months after Sony closed some of its own game studios and laid off around 900 employees. The depressing list of layoffs at game studios continues to grow on a weekly basis, with GTA 6 and BioShock publisher Take-Two laying off hundreds of employees last month and cutting projects. Inside Xbox, there's now uncertainty about the future holds and questions over Microsoft's gaming strategy. While Microsoft is looking toward a more PC-like future for its Xbox console, the company continues to battle a slowdown in Game Pass subscribers, lackluster Xbox console sales, and game launch delays. I get the game launch delays, but Xbox, the Game Pass subscribers, bro, yeah, it's slowing down, but that doesn't mean it's not growing.
yeah, I was trying
Because it is growing.
I mean, I think so. I was trying to. I think there was an article recently talking about. I don't know if it was Game Pass was stagnant at this point, or if it was still like it was barely growing. Like I think it's maybe slowed down some. But
You're right. It's stagnating what they thought. It's still growing, but that's been the whole shift and the whole thing that Microsoft's been doing the last year
yeah,
of trying to get Game Pass on everything.
right.
I'm pretty sure if Phil Spencer could get Game Pass on a PS5, he would do it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
Like that's just their model. Like that's what they're trying to do now. That's their model. But yeah, how much do you need, bro? Like you're the most profitable company in the world. All right, let's continue. A combination of these events led to 4 previously Xbox exclusive games launching on the PS5 recently, and some landing on Nintendo Switch. I reported earlier, so Tom Warren, I almost said Jim Ryan. Tom Warren reported earlier this year that Microsoft had been considering bringing Gears of War to rival consoles, and we're still waiting to see if a long-rumored Gears of War collection is ever confirmed, which we might find out. When is the Xbox Game Showcase? Is that next month?
3 weeks. Oh,
yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3
So
weeks.
we'll definitely cover that. So like and subscribe. And where are we at here? Either way, Tom is still expecting to see more Xbox games arrive on PS5 and Switch. It'll be interesting to see if the Xbox Game Showcase in June, that's what it is, includes any new announcements for rival hardware. I would think so. Yeah, continuing on, just kind of power through it. It's lengthy, so that's why I'm sort of power reading right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. Microsoft has also had internal debates about whether to put new releases of Call of Duty into Game Pass. Tom understands this is a debate that has been ongoing internally for quite some time, with concerns from some that the revenue that Call of Duty typically generates for Activision Blizzard will be undermined by Game Pass. That would be an interesting topic, but I think
yeah.
If you put on Game Pass, you are losing sales. So yeah, you're going to lose a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like $70 games.
Yeah, a lot of that direct, like you're definitely gonna lose money there, I think.
Yeah, the bottom, like the baseline, you're gonna lose that, but you're still gonna make a ton off the game, like not the Game Pass, Battle Pass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
all the
at that point. Yeah, exactly. Like at that point, you're banking on the microtransactions, Battle Pass, like yeah.
Yeah, and then dude, could you imagine decals being something you have to pay for instead of unlocking?
I mean, it could get to that.
Grinding.
I mean. If it goes to Game Pass, I wouldn't be surprised, Mike.
I think you're right. That's they got to find the money somewhere, and they'll use that as an excuse.
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be sad. All right, let's get some more context of investigator Tom Warren. He said that Microsoft has also considered increasing the price of the Game Pass Ultimate again. These are only considerations, so a final decision could mean we still see a future Call of Duty release appear in most versions of Game Pass. The debate internally reflects the fact that Microsoft's Xbox strategy has shifted from just delivering its games exclusively into Game Pass to considering bringing more Xbox games to multiple platforms. In yesterday's memo from Matt Booty, which we read in the previous article, Matt Booty, who is the head of Xbox Game Studios, there was a hint of reprioritization for Bethesda teams that we may well see elsewhere with Xbox. So they said, or an excerpt from the memo was, these changes are grounded in prioritizing high-impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games. Yikes. So that was Booty saying that, and before noting that Xbox is doubling down on Bethesda franchises that are best positioned for success. That means no more risks. That means no more new IPs. That means recycled garbage. No risk, no actual legitimate reward, and it's all to set up expectations for the bottom line.
Listen,
on the stock market,
we're pumping out stuff we know will work, in quotes.
Yeah. But what about Hi-Fi Rush 2, bro?
That's what I'm saying. You already know there was probably talks. At the studio, they're like, we gotta double up on this. We gotta get that idea going.
100%. Whatever, man. So this is where Tom asked the question: did Hi-Fi Rush really not meet that bar? Now there will be inevitable questions about what other Xbox games aren't best positioned for success.
Ain't that the truth? There's gonna be so many questions.
There's a lot of if Hi-Fi Rush can't do it.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. If a studio with that level of success is in trouble, not in trouble, but is susceptible to being closed, it's going to be I feel like there's so many studios now that are just going to be questioned amongst the fans of
oh yeah,
just general is this the last game? Are they gonna make another one after this? You just don't know.
Well, if you're in one of these studios that or developers that are under the conglomerate of Xbox Game Studios, and they just took out Hi-Fi Rush, that's got to be a warning shot, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's the thing. It not only affects morale, around just the studios close to Bethesda umbrella, but it's Xbox as a whole. You got to think there's got to be some level of concern from everybody. So yeah,
it's brutal. But there are some big IPs on the horizon, which is where this starts getting a little bit more context of, I guess, hopefully their mission. Tom's a pretty good investigator, I feel like. So let's continue on what he's got to say. So Xbox now has a strong lineup of games planned for 2024 with Senua's Saga's Hellblade 2 set to debut in a matter of weeks on May 21st. He understands Hellblade 2 is another game that Microsoft has been considering for PS5 if that ever happens. At this point, it's not clear if even that would be considered a success. That's very true.
Dude, yeah, I'm honestly kind of worried about Ninja Theory now. All these studios, I'm just concerned now. If this doesn't, especially if a game doesn't do well, it's oh no, it's just
That's true, man. I mean, let's be real. What Redfall, that kind of made sense.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
That was a really bad game.
Redfall is just an unmitigated disaster, literally. So I mean, you're almost not surprised. I mean, and they've made good games in the past, so I think there's probably even some stuff that wasn't entirely their fault. They probably, and I don't even think it was the studio's first choice to make a Redfall, but they were just Xbox, and they had pressure from outside, people saying hey, you got to do this. And
yeah, we honestly don't know the full story of what happened at that studio. Maybe there were people that they called up Xbox studios that they had good relationships with, and they were like, this ain't working over here on Redfall. I need to get on a different project and then transfer over, use the relocation, something, You never really know what happened. You lose a couple of key people in leadership positions, everything could fall apart rapidly.
Exactly.
So you got to be careful. But so where am I at? Okay, so Xbox employees are now bracing for what's next, as it seems unlikely that we've seen the last of Microsoft gaming layoffs and cutbacks. There are whispers among employees that core Xbox game studios are set for cutbacks next month. Last month, Microsoft reported that Xbox hardware revenue was down by 31% year over year, and an obvious admission that this was driven, in quotes, driven by lower volumes of consumer consoles sold. So yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, they haven't been trying to do that the whole time.
Yeah. But now they're trying to, you're saying, they're trying to get everything everywhere. So
yeah,
how can you do that?
But that
Game Pass.
Yeah, And Phil Spencer said multiple times, he's like the head of Xbox that said we're not trying to sell consoles anymore. But then Microsoft's coming out and just like, I mean, we're not really getting hardware revenue in. It's like, bro, you're a software company. Why do you care about hardware in the first place? What are you talking about? Whatever. So last year, Microsoft reported a 30% drop in Xbox hardware revenue, blaming increased console supply from the prior year in 2022. Sony PS5 sales have also slowed, but not like Microsoft's. It's also expensive to buy anything. We saw the TikTok trending video of people struggling just to fill their gas tanks, man.
It's kind of hard to live out.
It's tough out in these streets. Yeah. Man, have you seen the cost of eggs, bro? Crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
So, while Xbox hardware sales are a cause for concern, Microsoft has been beating the Xbox Game Pass drum in recent years, telling us the Xbox, with this quote, the Xbox business isn't how many consoles you sell. That is what I was talking about. They don't care about the consoles anymore. But Microsoft's latest earnings report showed that the Xbox content and services, which includes Xbox Game Pass, would have only been up a single % without Activision Blizzard, and overall gaming revenue would have declined without this giant acquisition. That's nuts. Wow. So Microsoft CFO Amy Hood is now expecting Xbox hardware revenues to decline again next quarter. I mean, duh. Yeah, of course you should.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to think that, like, you know, if that acquisition didn't happen, like, Xbox would be worse state. It's just like, oh man.
I mean, okay, so what does it say? Overall gaming revenue would have been declined without this giant acquisition. Okay, so I'm thinking what this is saying is the latest earnings showed that the Xbox content and services, including Game Pass, would have only been up a single % year over year. I think that's what this is about. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have gaming revenue.
Yeah.
Or have revenue. I think it's just the growth. Like, they always concentrate on the growth, but it's like, dude, if you're profitable by 25% every year, that's good, right?
Yeah, that is
You
good.
shouldn't be saying like if the next year you only do 26%, you're just like, oh, we're only 1% better. It's like
year over year, we're only 2% better.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're still way in the black. Like,
yeah, it's like, you know what? This is a good time for us to shut down popular studios. That's how we'll make the revenue back.
I'm not even laughing at this studio shot. It's just like, it's just so ridiculous, and that's probably the thought pattern. Like, I think you're probably right.
It's 100% the thought pattern, because now they're saying like, oh, the decline quarter.
It's just ridiculous, dude.
How much money do you need, man? Okay, let's keep going. Microsoft's gaming business isn't growing without Activision Blizzard right now, and how that plays out throughout 2024 will be a key for all Xbox studios. Microsoft has a busy fall ahead of Xbox, with Bethesda currently targeting September for Starfield expansion Shattered Space, Activision planning the next Call of Duty for late October, and Avowed and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 likely to follow in November. To top that all off, Indiana Jones is currently planned for December. Those are going to be big titles, and I think you and I have been hearing nothing but positive things about them. So
that's good. Look, man, I'm excited for all those titles. Definitely, I think. I am. I mean, you know, like the Shattered Space stuff. COD, you know, we'll see what they got cooking. I'll see the showcase after Xbox showcase and see what they're doing.
When are we gonna learn, bro?
Yeah, but like the biggest thing I'm looking forward out of all of this, definitely I think Avowed is what I'm looking forward to the most. Because, you know, I want to get into kind of the medieval RPG stuff, so I feel like that'd be a good. I'm hoping that's a good kind of first entry to get my feet wet in that before Elder Scrolls 6 eventually comes out.
I'm on board with you there. There are some good things, I guess. So if Microsoft's game studios can deliver all of these games on time, then there will be plenty to play on Xbox this holiday, with a new Gears of War title expected to be announced during the Xbox Summer Showcase alongside some release dates for other anticipated Xbox games. Microsoft will be banking on some new game announcements, lifting the doom around Xbox. That's a nice little play by Tom. But the company's gaming strategy still looks unclear, and the challenges run deeper than a handful of holiday launches. Yeah, I think the trouble is at the exec level. Because
sure. Yeah.
if you're still profitable, man, you're still making good games. And like, I'm going to butcher his name, probably fourth time. Bakaba?
Bakaba. Yeah, no.
Bakaba. I don't know. Dinga. Does that sound worse? The guy at Arkane Lyon. Yeah. The guy at Arkane Lyon basically saying to the execs, hey, F you. We're in the business of entertainment, expression, and art.
Yeah.
Quit being a jerk.
Yeah.
Accept that.
The most base take we've heard out of the industry so far.
100%.
It's just
real
so true,
take too.
So
Very,
true, man.
very like an emotional take.